What is a QME supplemental report? What is a QME report? There's generally two ways, okay, I'll say three. Generally two ways for a QME to report in a case. You go to a QME exam, you see the qualified medical examiner, he or she examines you, checks range of motion, whatever it may be, talks to you about the injury, reviews reports. The QME is going to write a report. That is a report that's generated from an exam. So that's a QME report. Let's say that the QME examines you and the QME says, I didn't get the medical file from your adjuster. I hate it when that happens, but I don't have the record of treatment that you've had for the last few years. You're telling me that you injured your back before, but I don't have the records from your personal physician either. I'll have to issue a supplemental report. The supplemental report's the second way that a QME will generally report in a case. No exam will take place. It is just the claims adjuster or you sending medical reports or other documents to the QME and saying, hey, review these and address any changes in your opinion. There's technical requirements. Those have to go to the opposing party with the proposed letter. They have to wait 20 days to see if there's any objections. So if the adjuster is going to send records to the QME, they need to send them to you first. You can object. But let's say everything goes to the QME will issue a supplemental report. So we have the initial report, we have a supplemental report. Is it odd that a QME would issue a supplemental report? Not in the least. Happens all the time. Is it odd that a QME might need a re-exam? Already examined you one time, several months have gone by, and now another QME exam? No, not odd in the least. Happens all the time. There's lots of reasons for a re-exam. Maybe you got treatment, maybe you're doing better. QME needs to see you again, see if there's a change in condition. Maybe you had surgery. QME needs to see you now and address whole person impairment. Maybe at the first exam, QME said you're not permanent and stationary. Now you've gotten some treatment. Maybe now you are. QME needs to address that. Maybe the QME left a few things open at the first exam. Get me an MRI, get me an X-ray, get me some nerve conduction testing. I'll see the injured worker back after treatment. You go back for another exam. Happens all the time. Supplemental reports, same thing, all the time. The QME will address all of the issues and then say, what I really need is an MRI of the knee. What I really need is flexion extension X-rays. What I really need is some cartilage interval X-rays where I've got measurements. That gets done. It goes to the QME, a supplemental report. The third way, kind of, that a QME can report in a case would be a deposition. That tends to be more rare, especially if the injured worker does not have an attorney. If the QME needs to be deposed by one side or the other, chances are attorneys are going to get involved. Claims adjusters don't usually do that. You'll usually have an attorney for the insurance company, and if you are an injured worker and the defense is taking the deposition of your QME, I would strongly recommend that you reach out to an attorney for a consultation because it's very technical. There's a lot of strategy that gets involved. The regulations tend to be very involved with what can be asked and what can't be asked. I'd really recommend having an attorney. But that's the third way. So you've got a QME report after an exam, you've got a QME supplemental report, and potentially a deposition down the line. What's typical in a workers' comp case? I don't even know how to say what's typical. Probably 2 exams and maybe 2 supplemental reports might be par for the course. Some cases that go on for years may have multiple exams, multiple supplemental reports. It's really tough to say. It may be that you get a QME report right out of the gate that's complete, addresses all issues, and you can move to settlement. Every case is different. But that's it. QME reports and supplemental reports, from time to time a deposition. Does the QME ever go to trial and testify? Virtually never. 0 times out of a million type thing. The board does not want to have testimony from doctors. The board wants records that they can review, QME reports, QME deposition transcripts. The board, the judges, do not want a QME sitting in the courtroom. If you found this video helpful, drop a comment down below and hit the like button for me.